Okay, how's everybody doing this evening? My name is Kent and the channel is San Diego. And today Bitcoin went through $16,000. Actually went through 16,000 the other day, but just slightly broke 16,000. Today it really blew through 16,000. I think it was up almost to 16,500. So as Bitcoin has been going up here recently, it's just been blowing through resistant points. And of course, I think 16,000 was kind of a resistance point. Just went right through it. I think right now, Bitcoin 20,000's almost a certainty. 20,000's close to the all-time high. Almost broke 20,000 one other time a few years ago. And I think this time we're close enough that when Bitcoin rallies the way it's been rallying, and it's been rallying really well, up almost $6,000 here recently, I think it's pretty safe to think that it's going to go through 20,000. People are going to want it to go through 20,000 because that's been the previous high, and I think you're going to see a lot of bullishness here in the next few weeks. Maybe by the end of the year, we can hit 20,000. That would be ideal. But if we don't hit it by the end of the year, we're going to hit it very, very soon. 20,000 for Bitcoin's, like I say, pretty much a lock. So we're at 16.4, 16.5, 16.3, 16.2, whatever it's at right now. I think there's a play here for a few $1,000s up to 20,000. And keep in mind what's really going on here. Start to think of the macro, the bigger picture here. And what the bigger picture is the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of the world is probably taking place right now. And what I'm saying is, as money becomes more plentiful, it's literally what you would say a hidden tax. I mean, a lot of people have said this before, but basically what's going on right now is as the government prints money to stimulate the economy, the value of the money dwindles. And so what ends up happening is everybody that's holding cash or holds money, it becomes less valuable, and the government is really taxing you at an exorbitant rate. Your tax rate is off the charts right now, and you don't even know it. It's a hidden tax, more or less, to say, because as the government hides the inflation, but they print money, trillions of dollars at a time, it literally makes your money worth less and less. And the canary in the gold mine, our little way of gauge, our measurement of how much is happening and how quickly it's happening, is Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is a limited supply. It's not affected by any politics. It's not affected by any leadership because nobody owns Bitcoin. It's true money. It's not artificial. It's not fake, and nobody manipulates Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is the canary in the gold mine, and it's telling you how much is being robbed from you right now by this excessive inflation and money printing. So obviously, there's going to be some way that somebody is going to try to stifle or put some restraints on Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin was truly allowed to do what it should do, you're going to see $100,000 Bitcoin here very soon, and maybe 300,000, 500,000. It could go to $1 million in the near future if things continue on the way they're on the trajectory that it's going. You're going to see Bitcoin go out off the charts because there is no stopping the endless money supply that needs to be created in order to keep the economy going. At the same time that everything is being shut down. So right now here in California, we may be going back to lockdown. We don't know. It sounds like some other states are going back to lockdown. Now, you can't lock down the economy, completely shut everything down, and expect people not to have some way of existing, paying the ordinary everyday bills that they got to pay. So the only way to do that is helicopter money. You're going to have to start dropping helicopter money for people to live. And the only way to drop helicopter money is just to keep asking the federal government to pass stimulus bills. So that's what's going to happen here very soon. Now, if I were to make a wager on what's going to happen, and think about this, think about the tax. I mean, the hidden tax has been going on for a long time, and obviously you can protect yourself from the hidden tax. You could buy a piece of real estate, and as the cost of building goes up, the materials to build that real estate, the house go up. You're going to make money because the house that you own is being built at a lower cost of building, lumber, concrete, all the materials, nails, everything like that was purchased at a lower price. So when you purchase it at that price, and then the money creators create more money, everything goes up in value, but your house continues to go up in value along with the inflation, because obviously the prices were locked in at the time that it was built. And that's a good thing, and that's how people have stayed ahead of the game. Here in California, it's not that it's so expensive to live in California, because it really isn't. I live in California, and I live in one of the most expensive areas in California. It's not that it's expensive to live here. It's expensive to rent here. Because if you rent a house, you're going to pay more money than probably any place else in the country. But if you live in the house, if you own the house, as the prices and the costs of everything go up higher, the housing price goes up higher too. So you're able to keep ahead of the game by owning a piece of property. So like I say, in California, it's not expensive to live, it's like expensive to rent. If you own, then you just keep up going with everybody else. And I literally know people that have bought houses here in California for a few $100,000 that are worth a few $1 million today. So their wealth is stored in their house. But the problem with that is, when you go to sell a house, you're going to pay taxes on most of that money. So you never really escape this hidden tax, because, with real estate, let's say you buy a piece of property, buy another piece of property, the government gives you something called a 1031 exchange, which allows you to exchange like-type property. So you can continue to upgrade your property to more expensive property, and continue to reap the benefits of a growing economy because of inflation, and never have to pay any tax on this until you sell. But when you sell, you're going to have to pay the tax. So there's really no way to escape this hidden tax. And it's probably true with Bitcoin. I mean, when you own Bitcoin, you will probably someday have to pay tax. I mean, up to this point, I think people have been able to escape tax with Bitcoin. But in the future, as you work with exchanges, and exchanges become more mainstream and online, and the bigger money comes involved in custody and all these other issues, there will be a way for them to tax your Bitcoin. But your Bitcoin is going to stay ahead of the inflation game. And that, just like the real estate did. How much tax you pay on it at the end of the day, I don't know. But it will stay ahead of it better than anything. And stay ahead of it probably much easier and much better, and with a lot less work and headache than owning something like real estate. And of course, the real estate market is manipulated a lot, as well as gold and silver and precious metals, because they're commodities and the government owns a lot of it. But they're going to have to be able to control how much Bitcoin increases in value. Because like I think, Bitcoin is the great equalizer, and it's the great truth teller. So as things continue to inflate, money continues to be created, world money becomes more plentiful, they're going to have to come up with an alternative solution to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is going to be able to expose all this. So what I predict will happen is there will probably be some digital money created on a worldwide basis, maybe through a World Bank or something of that sort, that you will be able to exchange your money for this new world money that does not have all this debt associated with it. Because the way money's been created here recently, or in the last, since Bretton Woods, basically is that money is created from debt. So you have to borrow money, you have to create a debt before the money's created. So in the case of the United States of America, the money has to be borrowed, and then the money is created. So the money's created out of actually a need, or there's some creation mechanism involved, which means money's needed. We have something being built, something being done by the government, so we create the money in order for that to happen. So there is some activity that's taking place for the money to happen. So the money just isn't created and nobody has anything to do with it. It's already been spent before it's been created. So that's been creating money out of debt. That is going to have to go away, because it's gotten to the point where there's so much debt that you cannot create enough money to keep up with it, especially given the fact that the debt accumulates some way of repayment, some interest, or something that has to be outside of the debt that has to be able to be created, because that's the reason for doing the money, is the fact that there's got to be some monetary There's got to be a gain in it for the person that creates the money. There's got to be some for the people that do the money. There has to be something in it for them. So that's where you have the interest. That's where you have the national debt. But that's all going to be erased. In fact, they're talking about negative interest rates right now, which is probably where they're going to go. But they're not going to go there. They probably will. Maybe they won't. I don't know. If they do negative interest rates, it'll be very, very short period of time. But there'll be some sort of digital currency created that's not Bitcoin, but will compete with Bitcoin. And you'll be able to exchange your money for this new digital currency that's being created right now as we speak by somebody in the world. Not the United States. I don't believe the United States is going to be doing this. Somebody else in the world is going to be doing this. And I think the way you're going to be bought into this new system is that they will be giving you lots of money. So there'll be helicopter money for everybody. So everybody that gets involved with the new currency, the new digital currency that's not Bitcoin, and not the US dollar, will be that you'll be able to use the money, the debt that you have, or whatever it is that you've accumulated, whatever money you've been able to accumulate, you'll be able to exchange it for this new currency. And once you get on this new currency, this will be the worldwide currency. Once you get on this new currency, you will get free money for a while, and that will get you involved. And once you get involved with the free money, you will have a lot of benefits. You will have a lot of benefits, and you will have a lot of things that you'll have to give up for it. Just like we did back in the day when we did the PIC program. The PIC program was a program that would supplement farmers that were making less than what it cost to produce the commodity. So if you were growing corn and you were spending $5 a bushel to grow the corn, and your corn was only worth $3 a bushel, the government was making up the difference. But to make up the difference, the government asked you to do a few things. One of the things they asked you to do was to put land in set aside, which means that you had to put land away that couldn't be farmed. It was like rotation. So certain parts of the land could not be farmed anymore. And what we found out in doing it was not a good program, because what happened was when the land didn't get farmed, of course the farmer, being smart businessman, didn't want to put any money into land that wasn't making any money outside of a fixed amount that was given to him by the government. So it did not get irrigated. It did not get, the weeds were not controlled. So basically ruined the land because the weeds would take over. And of course, I think they had a minimum requirement for you to go out and till the land and keep the weeds down, but nobody did it because nobody was checking, and they didn't have the resources to go out and check. So the land become ruined, and if you had set aside land, it would take years for you to get it back into production where, because it wasn't being irrigated. Of course, I was in a very dry area of the country, western Nebraska, where you didn't get a lot of rainfall, so the ground would become very hard. The seeds would take over, the weed seed would take over, and it would take years in order to reclaim that land. So that was the set aside that the government asked you in order to get the benefits or the program money that they were giving you. The other thing they asked you to do is they asked you to go minimum till. So you had to do a minimum till program, which means you had to alter the way you were farming, which meant that you had to use more weed control, you had to use more herbicides, so you had to buy more stuff from Monsanto, which made Monsanto more popular because you were buying, that's what Roundup Ready Seed and all that other stuff came from. And of course, I haven't been on the farm for 20, 25 years. A lot of this I pick up from YouTube, but this is the way it was when I was there. We were just in the very initial stages of that. Well, that's the way this will be with the helicopter money that we get from the centralized system that creates the new digital currency. You will get benefits of giving free money, and you'll be able to exchange your money that's devaluing at an incredible rate for money that doesn't devalue because it doesn't have any debt behind it. And you will be asked to do certain things. Like you may be asked to, be more careful about COVID, distancing, be able to put an app on your phone that makes sure you stay a certain distance from everybody else. You may have to wear a mask. You may have to have some sort of application on your phone that make sure you wear a mask. You may, you may have to participate in education as far as spreading viruses and how not to spread viruses and everything like this. This will be the trade-off. So there will be some advantages and some disadvantages, depending on your point of view. But anyway, I think that's the point we're going to. But until we get to that point, I think Bitcoin is going to go much, much higher. I'm looking for 20,000 very soon, 50,000 in the very near future, and probably 100,000 before too long, maybe within the next 12 months. I appreciate you watching.